Hello everyone, welcome to this video. So we have compiled a few points about the application process for the UVA Darden School of Business, the full-time MBA program. And we'll walk you through the essential components of the application process and share some insights and tips which will help you put forward a strong application. So let's begin with the class profile at the UVA Darden MBA program. The class size is 348 and the GMAT average score has been 720 recently. However, the range of GMAT scores has been between 680 to 760. This is the mid 80% range that was admitted to the school. Again, the GRE score is also accepted for the program and the GRE average was 319 or 320. The GPA average ranges between 3.51 to 3.55, and the average work experience in the class at the UVA Darden MBA program is around 5.8 years. So, if you feel that you fit this description or you are close to it, then this is a good school to target. So, coming to the application deadlines, there are 4 application deadlines. There is one very special round which is called the early action application deadline. So, we'll be talking about the early action application process shortly from now. For now, it is important for you to note that there are 4 deadlines that you have to look into. So, mark your calendars for 7th September, 4th October, 4th January, and 4th of April. So the UVA Darden MBA also offers a test waiver option. So you can opt for not submitting your GMAT or GRE scores. For that, you need to apply for through a special application form, and the test waiver deadlines are separate from the application deadlines. So make sure that whatever round that you are targeting to apply to, you should be applying for the test waiver with respect to that round itself. So the test waiver deadlines are different from the application deadlines. So make a note of these deadlines as well if you are planning to go in for a test waiver. What do you require to apply for a test waiver at the UVA Darden MBA program? You require a very strong undergraduate record, preferably a strong record in the analytical subjects. Again, a master's or an advanced degree in analytical subjects is also going to be a plus. Another criteria which is important is if you have 3 years of experience, which is more than 3 years of experience. You can choose 1 or 3 out of these criteria. In addition to these criteria, there are options to more options to select. That is, if you have professional certifications like the CPA or the CFA, once you go to the test waiver application form for the UVA Darden application, you will be able to find those options as well. So at the end of this application process, you also have to put in a 150 words essay to describe how you qualify for the test waiver. So, assuming that you are not applying through the test waiver, what are the application components which are required to apply to the UVA Darden MBA? You will, of course, need your unofficial transcripts. You will need your current resume. You will need your employment and academic history. The application process for the UVA Darden MBA requires only one recommendation letter. You have an option to submit another one. So, you can submit to a maximum of up to 2 recommendation letters. There are 3 essays that you have to submit, and along with your test scores, which can be any out of these: the GMAT Focus Edition, the GRE, the Executive Assessment, the MCAT, and the LSAT. Any of these scores are equally valid for submitting your application for this MBA program. Another requirement, especially for the international students and the Indian students, would be the TOEFL or the IELTS. If your transcript from your bachelor's degree mentions that the medium of instruction of your course was English, then you do not need to submit a TOEFL or an IELTS. Otherwise, you would be required to submit one. The last section of the application form will require information like your activities, hobbies, and other personal questions about your interests in the program. So let us discuss about what is the early application deadline. Early application deadline will give you 2 options. One is a binding option and one is a non-binding option. So when it is a binding option, this means that this is the first school that you choose to apply to. And if you are given an option, given an admit at this point in time, you will withdraw the applications from other schools. Plus, you will also have to pay a non-refundable deposit. The other option is a non-binding option. In case of the non-binding option, it is unrestricted. So there is no such requirement of withdrawing applications, but you will have to remit an initial non-refundable deposit in the case of the non-binding option as well. The UVA Darden application requires a single letter of recommendation. In case you choose to, you can submit one more letter of recommendation. So, in all, maximum of two letters of recommendation, you should always choose recommenders who can speak about your academic and your professional capabilities. So, in terms of the essays, the UVA Darden MBA application will require three essays. One would be on the personal traits, that is around 100 words. The second essay is about inclusivity, and this is up to a maximum of 300 words. The third essay talks about your goals, where the word limit is around 200 words. The interview process at the UVA Darden MBA is very special. It is around 30 to 45 minutes of an interaction. The interview is anonymous. That means the interviewers will not have any of your application or your resume prior to interviewing you. The early action round gives you open interviews. That means all of the people who are applying to the early action round will be called for an interview, but the invitation only interviews are conducted in the round 1, 2, and 3 application cycles. When you create your login with the UVA Darden portal, you will get an option to first select an application type. So let us go to the full-time test waiver application first in case you are applying for a test waiver. So let us create an application for test waiver and open the application. So once I open the application, you can see that the test waiver deadline is different from the application deadline. If you're applying to R1, then you need to submit your test waiver maximum by 25th of September 2023. So the waiver criteria are also very clear. If you do not want to submit a GMAT, GRE, an executive assessment, MCAT, or an LSAT score with your application, in that case, you can submit a waiver request if you have a strong undergraduate record and you have, especially in the analytical coursework, then, or if you have a master's or an advanced degree in analytics, plus if you have 3 years or more, basically more than 3 years of professional work experience. So if you have any of these, you can check this box over here. In addition, if you have any previous score or any professional certification which you would like to add to your candidature, like the SAT score which you might have from your college, any professional certification, you can add that over here. For the international applicants, it is very important also to understand that the TOEFL and an IELTS, it is not a required case for all kinds of international applicants. So in case you have received your degree from a university where your medium of education, the medium of instruction was English, then you are not required to take an English language assessment test. Okay, so this is one. And then finally, you add over here around 150 words of write-up to say or give a context of why you have selected any of these and why you are opting for the test waiver. So let's say we go to the next section. Yes, so this is the test waiver application which is continuing. You need to give your personal information, add details about your address, and your academic history will also be required as a part of your test waiver application. That means you must include your transcripts and add the information in terms of what is your highest level of education. So do you have a standardized test score to share? Let's say yes. Then are you sharing an SAT score or an ACT score? This is something that you can add over here. For the English proficiency, again, you will have options for the TOEFL IBT, the IELTS academic, or the PTE academic. And if you want to receive a waiver on the English proficiency test, then you need to say that whether your bachelor's degree is from an institution where English was the medium of instruction. If it is yes, then you do not need to submit an English proficiency test score. The next part that you need to add for your application, the waiver over here, is your professional experience. So upload your resume and you need to also add your professional experience. So you need to upload your resume in Word or PDF, and you need to add your employment details. So you need to add your employers and give in all the details of your work experience over here. So a final check. So this is the application for the test waiver. The second part of the application portal is your MBA application. So MBA application, start your MBA application, choose your round over here itself. So let's say we select the early action round and create the application. So you need to be very sure which round you want to apply to so that the application opens up accordingly. And we are still continuing with the early action application. And this is how the application portal looks. So you will have a clear set of instructions over here. Again, get started with your personal information, add where you are from, your address, the contact details, etc. Right. So once you are done with your personal information, then you add your family background. In terms of your family background, you can talk about your marital status, the number of children that you have, if you have any relative who's applying, or if you have parents, so your guardians and parents, the information for that also the school would like to know about that. And this is also optional information. So, and the idea over here is that the school wants to, know more about you. This is one section where you have around 150 words to elaborate about any of the choices that you have made over here. So, for example, if you're a first generation college student, neither of your parents have received any college degree prior to you getting into this initiative, then you can check this over here and you can also give the context of what your hardships were and what your achievements are and how you have made an impact as a first generation applicant. The next part of the application is about the program information. Are you a reapplicant? If yes, let's say if it is yes, then you will need to write about which program format had you previously applied for. Future years, so if you were a future year scholars program applicant and had been rejected earlier, then again you have to, select that option over here. In which year did you intend to begin your MBA studies? So that, and then as you are a reapplicant, you need to give around 100 words of an explanation of what have you done to improve your candidacy since you last applied. So write about the initiatives and the personal growth or professional growth activities you have been involved in since the time that you had last applied. Then, since we had selected the early action options, this early action gives you two options. One is a binding option and one is a non-binding option. So binding option, if you are selecting this, that means UVA Darden is the school, first school of your choice. And if you are admitted during this round, you will withdraw all applications submitted to other colleges. Yes, of course, you will have to submit a certain deposit, a non-refundable deposit as well. And if you go in for the non-binding option, yes, you do. This is unrestricted. You do not have, it's not mandatory for you to pull out from other colleges. But at the same time, there is a non-refundable deposit applicable here as well. You can give Darden permission to share. So you need to say whether you are giving that permission or not. And then also to share your, data to other scholarship parties or fellowships or grants who might be interested in looking at your profile, whether you want to share that or not. If yes, then please go ahead and check this box. And then how did you hear about Darden? What were the points of contact which you did go out to, which helped you decide that yes, Darden is a school where you wanted to apply? Then come to your professional experience. So your professional experience is a very important part of your application. Again, you need to upload a resume. You need to add your total months of work experience, which you will have at the time that you begin your Darden classes. So the work experience, which is calculated, is till the time that you start the class at Darden. Finally, once you have added the years of experience and it is distributed across different companies and tenures, you can add each tenure respectively in this part of the application. So if we go to this part of the application, it is asking about, what is your job description like? How many hours per week have you worked over here? And what were the total employees, the total revenue of the company? So according to that, it will give them a good context of what has your work experience profile been like. In the employment details section, there is another area which is your LinkedIn profile. So please provide your LinkedIn profile over here. Your professional area of interest, you need to add what areas you are looking at. You can choose up to 3 industries, and to choose any industry you need to just hold on to the control key. So you can choose 3 industries from this is a huge list which is provided over here. You can select certifications as well from this list which is provided. So if right, coming to the next part of the application, which is the academic history. Academic history means you add your institutions, you talk about your degree related work only over here. If there are other courses that you have pursued which are non-degree related, then you add it to the academic experience section, which is the next section that we'll talk about. But for the academic history section, you just need to add your full-fledged degrees that you have completed. Just add your institutions and add the degree that you have completed and add the PDF or the scanned pages for your transcripts. The next section is the academic experience section. So the academic experience section talks about the non-degree course completion. So that means any Coursera courses that you have done or any pre-MBA courses that you have completed, that will come to this section. If you can also add Coursera in your pre-MBA courses in this particular section as well, the course provider, course name, add the detail of the what is the duration and the tenure of the course, and write the description of the course. Okay, so college extracurriculars and employment. So if you have had any extracurricular activities in college and you have received any awards or you have been at a POR during your college, this is a place where you add this particular activity, what is the type of activity that you were involved in, and then based on that you add the rest of the participation, the description of the participation, the hours per week, the weeks per year, and from and to dates of your participation in these activities. Part of the UVA Darden MBA application is the test scores. So the test scores which are acceptable for this application cycle are the GMAT, the GMAT Focus, the GRE, Executive Assessment, MCAT, and the LSAT. So prior to this, we have discussed about the test waiver. So if you're not going for the test waiver, that means you add your test scores over here. For international applicants, again, if your bachelor's degree is from a university where the medium of instruction was English, then you do not need to add the TOEFL or the IELTS score. Otherwise, even that will be required. You need to add your test details. What was the test and what was your score like? So let's say it is a GMAT test. You need to give your the score breakup as well as the percentile that you had scored, and then also add as to how many times you have written the test. So the next section is about the essays. So the UVA Darden application will require 3 essays from you. One will be telling the UVA Darden community about yourself, and the other one would be the inclusive environment that you have worked with and your experience in working in a global community. As such, this is 300 words, and the third essay is about your post MBA goals. What type of industry function geography is it that you are looking at post MBA, and then how does it align with your long term vision? For this application, you require only one recommendation letter. However, you can submit up to 2. So you can add 2 recommenders over here, but the minimum requirement is a single letter of recommendation. That is more than enough for completing the requirements of the application form. Actually, the recommender's corporate email address is the preferred email address for this particular section. But in case you feel that the emails will be blocked and they are not going to get the emails, then you can add their personal email address as well. So once your recommenders have been added, you can get to the next section, which is about the interest. So what else do you do apart from your work? Are you involved in any community work? Do you have hobbies? What are the hobbies that you have been involved in? You can add hobbies in this section. You can keep on adding as per the interest that you have had over why you are applying to Darden as a community. So as a place, as a location, what is it that you would like to explore at Darden? All students who apply to Darden can also apply for a Darden worldwide course. So this is a very interesting opportunity that you have. Once this information is done, then you can come to the next section, which is the Darden organizations and clubs. So if you are interested in any of these clubs, you can check the box over here. You can check all that apply. There is no limit on this. So this is a very important aspect of your application, these scholarships. So when you are applying to the Darden application, the Darden MBA program, you have the option to give a supplemental application for the scholarships, especially the Baton Scholars program. Over here, you need to mention, select as to which. So there are three categories for this: the entrepreneurial scholars, innovation or technology. So if you have a strong story to share in entrepreneurship or innovation or technology, then you can go in for this particular scholarship, and then an additional essay of 500 words is required for the applicants to this particular program, and then they need to describe their experience in the area that they select. So if you are selecting entrepreneurship, then you need to say how your experience has aligned you, what you have done in terms of being an entrepreneur, what have been your initiatives, and why you qualify as a how you stand out as an applicant to this particular scholarship. For a need-based aid, in case you are applying for, if you wish to apply for a need-based aid, then you just need to check this box over here, and finally your information will be shared with the financial aid team, and they will reach out to you for with any scholarships or financial aid that you will have received as a part of your application. Additional comment section, as we discussed earlier, you have 250 words of space to talk about any other, any aspect that you want to explain. Let's say a gap in your career, or it is your choice of recommender, or it is your grades that you want to talk about. You can give this explanation over here. It is not a mandatory essay. It is not an essay at all. You just need to give uh, context to any of the anomalies in your application. Finally, go through all of this, place your signature, and finally review your application once and then submit it. Process for the UVA Darden MBA program, and feel free to get in touch with us for your application, your essays, or your interview preparation. All the best.